Many things have happened in Death Battle Land since my review of Simone vs. Kyle, which is still my personal favorite episode of the show so far. A major one that relates to this channel and my interest was Commoner Geets of all Commoners getting voted by fans to get a full episode alongside Nero from the Fate franchise. I definitely will review that episode as a major Commoner fan when it comes out. I just hope the remake of the game Nero's from releases soon so I can learn about her too. As for today's review, we're going to be talking about the final episode Devil Artemis worked on for Death Battle, Cell vs. Metal Sonic. Makes sense for a swan song since Devil Artemis' whole YouTube branding revolves around Cell, and this is one of Cell's most popular matchups. Now, in terms of fights animated by Devil Artemis, I've talked about Kratos vs. Asura before, and while I found that fight lacking in many areas, the man did not deserve the harassment from the episode's lacking qualities. We're all human, we're all not going to produce peak fiction on a regular monthly basis, sadly, it's just the way it is. It does suck to see him go from the show, but does he end his Death Battle tenure on a high note? The analysis segments are rock solid at selling the connections and cool factor of these copycat combatants. Not much to complain about here besides the usual Death Battle dad humor that you either tolerate or don't. The actual Cell vs. Metal Sonic fight is a delight. I should have clarified Devil Artemis isn't the only one animating this excellent fight, as I gotta shout out Duvan Haden, who helped out with the animation for the first time in a while since James Bond vs. John Wick in Season 9, and of course, the fan-favorite rising star of Death Battle, Moro, who many know for his legendary Bowser vs. Eggman fight. All the fellas worked together to make a very good-looking fight, with Devil Artemis not just voicing Cell in a more serious fashion compared to his own comedic YouTube videos with the character, but giving a badass metal voice to boot. Bro put his A-game into all departments for his final fight of the show, which hell yeah man, go for it! One of my favorite moments of the fight is when Metal Sonic does Chaos Control despite Cell trying to interrupt him with punches and kicks, and then Metal Sonic proceeds to use his analysis trump card to guarantee the win. Which is such a neat piece of choreography to show how cool both characters are, Cell keeping up the pressure of attacks, but Metal having the steel body and techniques to keep up. To be honest, going into this fight, I was expecting Metal to lose since Dragon Ball characters have a billion power-ups they can seemingly pull from, but it turns out the stomp was the other way around, as while Cell puts out a decent fight, Metal's copy ability is just better and more efficient than Cell's. I've seen some people over the years argue that they shouldn't make Death Battle episodes of easily decided stomps, but I think that misses the fun factor of seeing the animation of that fight in practice rather than just saying it out loud in words. Again, I don't really care about who wins a Death Battle, I just like seeing the cast and crew of this show express their love for these characters through the crossover versus format, and maybe even sell me into a character I wasn't into before. But who cares about that when you see Metal Sonic doing Cell's mannerisms plus using Tien and Goku's moves? Just a perfect use of the crossover setup for this matchup. I could nitpick about the ending line because it's Mecha Sonic who says I'll crush you, not Metal Sonic, but it's a Sonic robot doing crushing and the way it's framed like a fighting game windscreen is awesome, so I'll stop being a narc and let it pass. Also, the music by Therewolf Media went really hard. Metal as Cell, starting with the funny Falconer Cell meme theme and transitioning into What I'm Made Of from Sonic Heroes is just peak. Overall, I'm very happy with this Death Battle episode as a big fan of both Cell and Metal Sonic, and I'm happy Devil Artemis went out on a high note on Death Battle. There's a part of me that wants to cover the next match with Bakugo vs. Rize since I like my hero and love Chainsaw Man, but I got other things to do this month, plus I'm saving my Death Battle reviewer brain for Geets vs. Nero when that happens. Either way, thank you so much for watching yet another Death Battle review/analysis.